This is Rebecca Lang-Thurnes, Executive Director of Stocks in the Future. This is one PowerPoint teacher training session before we begin the 2020 school year. So welcome to Stocks in the Future, and this will go through some of the basics of our program. We welcome new teachers, and we welcome teachers back to 2020 Stocks in the Future. All right, so just a little bit about our mission and vision. We are all about encouraging students to come to school and do the best they can academically, and we do this using incentives. So for students in the program, for every week they have perfect attendance, they receive a Stocks in the Future dollar that goes into a portfolio, which then in turn can be invested while they're in the program. And then the other thing is we also give credit for A's and B's and grades going up in math and reading. And that also those Stocks in the Future dollars also go into the portfolio for investments. So this is a great parallel to show students that not only are they learning about investing in the market, but they're learning about investing in themselves by coming to school and doing the best they can. Not only are they learning about finance, but through this program, they're strengthening math skills, reading skills, writing skills. It's a very interdisciplinary program where they can learn and just review a lot of important skills that they'll need in life. This is done at the middle school level, and it is our wish that they are educated, encouraged, and empowered through learning about financial literacy. So why teach Stocks in the Future financial literacy curriculum? Our curriculum has been designed specifically for students that are in underserved communities. We would like to break the cycle of seeing a lot of practices like going to the corner store and just cashing out your paycheck and learning things about saving your money, also budgeting your money, and a lot of other best practices to become successful in the future. We would like to have students in underserved communities know about investing because historically they have not known about it, and we want to give them access to this information and access to this opportunity. So in the curriculum, they'll be learning some basics like budgeting and money management. They'll go into the basics of investing and growing their money. They will have the opportunity to purchase and sell stocks. They'll learn about debt, good debt versus bad debt. And all through this, they have this opportunity for grade incentives and attendance incentives. So what's to come? Real world investing, protecting your earnings, going public, what's your company spending plan, mutual funds versus stock, investing for life. A lot of good stuff that many people don't learn until they're in their adult years in the real world. Here is an overview of what the curriculum looks like. We start with the basics in 6th grade. What is a stock? What is a bond? How's putting your money into a savings account a way of investing your money? And eventually, what is a mutual fund, which is real world investing? So they start with the basics, and by the time they're in 8th grade, they are learning very sophisticated information. 8th graders will be learning and understanding how to read annual reports, income statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements. By this point, they really understand what is diversification, why is having a mutual fund real world investing versus owning stocks, And, how do you go about investing, whether it be a discount broker or working with a financial planner? There's a lot of choices, and this is the time to start thinking about how they're going to be handling their financial future. All right, a brief history of stocks in the future. We started in 2000, so yes, this has been a celebratory year of 20 years. We first started working in Philadelphia, and first 4 to 6 years was a pilot period of working in Maryland and DC. Finally, in 2006, a study done by Johns Hopkins University validated that this program does help improve attendance and grades in reading and mathematics. And then towards the later years, we've been aligning with Common Core, whatever the state curriculum is at this point in time. We've been through a couple of stages of strategic planning. Part of that was to make sure that there was more basic financial literacy concepts within the curriculum. And then we started adding after-school time programs into our program. Finally, in 2016, an external study was done with really wonderful results, which we'll talk about later in another slide. Peter Lynch, another great investor. He says that everyone has the brain power to follow the stock market. If you made it through 5th grade math, you can do it. So yes, math skills at the middle school level, knowing your ratios, knowing your fractions, knowing really good division, multiplication, all of this is what's needed to understand how to work finances. So we'll talk about the traditional way in which the program works. And of course, during 2020 into 21, this is not a traditional school year, but just for the new people that are joining us, so they know how we've worked in the past. We've talked about these incentives, so students can acquire money that goes into a virtual portfolio. So during a normal school year or traditional school year, the students receive 1 Stocks in the Future dollar for perfect weekly attendance. And then if they are there through the whole quarter, they receive a $1 bonus that goes in that portfolio. And then along with recognizing attendance as something being very important, we also incentivize the students to do well in math and reading. So for A's and B's in math and reading, they will receive Stocks in the Future dollars. And then also improving grades going up, they receive Stocks in the Future dollars. And they have the potential annual earnings of $80 going into those portfolios. And then on top of that, as they are purchasing stocks, those stocks have the ability to grow, and students can have more than $80 in their portfolio by the time they have finished 6th grade. Just a quick explanation, this is virtual investing. Stocks in the Future has a TD Ameritrade portfolio in which money goes into through gifts and grants. And by the time the students graduate from high school and turn 18, they then have the ability to transfer their portfolios, and it is their own. Now, the money that is transferred to these portfolios that is their own are only investments, not money that they have not invested. So it's important for teachers to encourage students to invest. So they're learning these concepts, and the money just is not sitting there. The money will not be theirs. Okay, let's talk about how we're working this year during the pandemic. And, we know that there's a lot of things to take into an account. We're working where teachers can't really stand next to students and make sure that they're working, and we're working with students that may have some academic challenges. So we are allowing for some flexibility, but here's the basics. So for each lesson, we have a video followed by a PowerPoint that is narrated, that can be accessed through our stocksinthefuture.org website. And we can also give you links to those presentations each month as you go through the lesson, just in case we have any technical difficulties with websites and all of that. So those videos and those PowerPoints will cover the concepts and the objectives of the lesson. And students have the power, of course, the ability to stop the recording so they can take notes and work through some math problems that are in that presentation. Once they have finished watching the video and the narrated PowerPoint, it is explained in each presentation that they're expected to take notes. So students that show that they have completed the note pages receive $1, and for the bonus for completing all note pages throughout the semester, they receive $3. And then teachers also can choose who are the top students who have the best, neatest, organized assignments, and you can also give a $2 bonus at the end of the quarter for really hard work and making sure that they can read and understand their notes. So, on these note pages are going to be key terms and lesson concepts and math breaks. And next slide is a really good example of what a typical student note page will look like. Or we will have one on one of our slides, excuse me. So now just talking a little bit more about the basics of Stocks in the Future. I'm the executive director, and here's my contact information, and please feel free to call me and or our program specialist, Julia Hinen. My number is 443-844-7188. Again, that number is 443-844-7188. And Julia is 248-761-3067. Julia just started with us a couple of weeks ago as a AmeriCorps volunteer. And for those of you who have been part of the program for the past 3 years, you know that our program specialist is our liaison. It communicates weekly with all the teachers, letting them know the latest news, and also is there as far as any challenges you're having or any questions that you have. And Julia's email is it's the end of the day, so I'm reading a little backwards here. So her email address is jheenan1@jhu.edu. Okay, moving along. We are very thankful for a lot of people that support Stocks in the Future in various ways. One of the biggest ways or biggest supports that we have is our board, and they're out there raising money, raising awareness, and really being our advocates for getting the name out into the community. and we have a lot of representation from many of our financial institutions like T. Rowe Price, PNC, M&T Bank, Brown Advisory, Constellation, um, and so those are the people that are working for us all the time. Also, our financial supporters. These are a lot of the major, again, financial institutions and family supported foundations that are in the Baltimore area. Okay, so the curriculum materials, we have a teacher guide that has a summary, objectives, standards, background, scripted lessons, special preparation materials. On our website, we still have the old-fashioned word transparencies, but you will not have access to those transparencies. You will be using PowerPoints instead. And then the students have a workbook that they have access to, and you have the choice of using those materials if you wish. And we'll leave them in the website as a PDF and also as a Word document, so you can kind of cut and paste and use whatever you would like to use for your purposes. Okay, so we can never say enough how important teachers play an important role in connecting students to incentives. And even during this remote learning time, if you can do whatever you can do to keep drumming these messages over and over again, it's important to stay in school. It's important to do the best you can academically. And for that reason, they receive incentives through the program. Of course, not this year, but hopefully next year, things will change back to the traditional way. But there is always a parallel to investing in oneself by doing the best you can, showing up. So they're still showing up. They're showing up to complete the note pages. And, as far as academics, they're completing some of the activities. So again, they're investing in themselves by being in this program and also making financial investments. Okay, and just to mention again, over and over again, the money that they're working with now in a virtual way can be theirs when they graduate from high school, turn 18, they have a year to make the transfer. And we really depend on teachers to remind the students that that opportunity is theirs. And we always know which teachers are the ones that are constantly reminding their students to do that, because the majority of those students are coming back to us and they remember those messages. Okay, a typical lesson has a flash review, discusses the objectives for the lesson, has a little preview to let the students know what they'll be talking about. They will go learn new vocabulary words each session. There are reading assignments, writing assignments, a math break in each lesson, a wrap-up, which is basically a writing exercise to summarize what they learned, and there is some extra credit opportunities called Go the Extra Mile. So just to review once again what this year looks like, you will have a link that can be shared to the students. The link will take you to a video introduction that goes through all of the basic concepts of what they're learning. There will be a transition slide which reminds the students that they were introduced to new terms. Now they need to get out a piece of paper and take some notes about what those terms are all about and do some activities related to those new terms. Along with that, along with just the basic notebook page notes that they're doing, teachers have the option to assign activities on top of that. And again, as we mentioned before, the The attachments that we have will not only be PDFs, but there will be Word attachments, so you can go in and cut and paste and do whatever you would like to do according to your class's ability and interest. We just ask again that the students do the basics as far as note taking and share them with the teachers. So this is what a basic note page will look like. There will be answers to the flash review. There will be the terms, the vocabulary words that they're introduced to. There will be some exercises as regards to showing that they understand the concepts and some of the activities that were done. There will be a math break where they need to follow along. And also, just remind the students that they can stop their tapes and take time to write out definitions if they need more time. That control is up to the students. And then at the end, there's a connection reflection. And that again is just kind of summarizing in various ways that they learn the new concepts. This example here is done in a very organized, neat way. And if I was the teacher, I would give the extra credit if all of the papers at the end of the quarter look like this. It just shows that they care and they're following along. All right, meet our students. Our students are basically students that are in Baltimore City. We are working with schools that are mainly underserved, and we define that by 50% or more students that are receiving food assistance. And our students are really excited because they're introduced to growing money first, and they've never heard this before. This is something new to them, and boy, how can we do this? I want to learn this. And so we take them into the basics of investing, and then we kind of step back a little bit and remind them that if they want to be successful investors, they need to manage their money. And what does that mean? That means you need to save, you need to budget, you need to think before you spend. And the students really get it. They get it, and then they get into it because they have this hands-on opportunity to invest and know that this investment can be real later in the future. During a traditional year, we have field trips available for students. Here is a picture on the left of students going to PNC Bank and sitting around the conference table and talking to people at headquarters in Pittsburgh. And so they get to sit around the conference table like they're financial professionals and learn what it means to work in banking or investing. The other picture is going down into the vault and talking about what do they use vaults for, what kind of things are stored, what kind of valuable things are in these different boxes that are kept safe from everyone. It's very interesting. This year we will offer to have guest speakers. So we'll have people come to us and record a presentation. And we're going to try to give teachers an opportunity to have questions available from their students. And we can have some of these questions answered during the presentation. Or we might even have a follow-up if they do a presentation and then they have questions and then do another presentation. That can work too. We're very open on how to do this the best way. And, we're all learning as we go the best way to do these things. We always have a lot of high-profile people interested in who we are and what we do. And so, the former Baltimore City Mayor has seen the Stocks in the Future class. Peter Franchot, who is the state comptroller, has seen several of our classes and is very excited about Stocks in the Future. Anirban Basu, he is a radio personality, an economic advisor. He's been to many of our presentations and events. And then Debbie Phelps, the swimmer's mom, she's been in education, works in education. She has also supported us in many ways. At the end of the year, we do special things for students upon their graduation. We would like students to receive a certificate that shows that they completed all 3 years, and also on that certificate remind students that they have their investments waiting for them and what they need to do. So we put the onus on the students, and of course, working with their parents to remember to come back to us to make that claim. And then again, we ask students to be a constant reminder about, they're taking the responsibility to contact Stocks in the future to make that transfer. There's been some studies on our program, and 2 major studies. Here are the results. Stocks in the future involves more than in 32 classes. So on average, we've had around 30 classes that have been tested. And through this testing, Stocks in the Future students attend school up to 2 more weeks more than the control groups, the other students that are not in the program. And then the other thing that has been shown is that Stocks in the Future reverses 5th graders' tendency for truancy. So most of the students in the program will continue through school and get their high school diploma, because we show over and over again that in order for them to be successful, they have to show up, they have to do the best they can academically, and these incentives really help to get that message out there. More results. This is from our Burke study. 7th grade SIF students scored 31% higher on a Johns Hopkins Short Achievement Test than control groups. 6th grade SIF students scored 18% higher on the Johns Hopkins Short Achievement Test than control groups, and et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of good data out there that shows that Stocks in the Future works. So, just to remind you again, actual shares of stocks are purchased by students in the program. They're purchased with the virtual dollars that they receive for coming to school and doing the best they can in reading and math. Stocks are redeemable upon high school graduation and when they turn 18 years old, and they have a year to do that. Again, we need teachers just to keep repeating that over and over again. The stocks that are available to students include Facebook, Sony, Sirius, Time Warner, Ford, Under Armour, Coca-Cola, Disney, Southwest. A handful of these stocks are blue chips, so they will be good investments for the students. And some of them are companies that are somewhat new and not as stable as like a Coca-Cola. A lot of you know already that students are learning about Under Armour and the fact that it may be very popular, but it has not been as stable as maybe some other investments. But it is a risk, and maybe the students that invest in Under Armour in the future are going to make really good money. We never know. Netflix was available some years ago at $15 a share. And at once, that share was selling for $300 a share. I think it's gone down to about $150. But students who made that investment have done quite well. It's no longer available because it's just too much money to invest for the money that they're receiving in middle school. So the most popular stocks are Sirius. Sirius is very popular because it is a low dollar stock, and they like to get as many shares as possible into their portfolio. Sirius has done quite well because it's gone from $3 a share to anywhere between $6 to $8 a share. Ford is popular because, again, it's sort of a low dollar stock. Recently hasn't been doing that great, but who knows, it may turn around and be a really good investment in the next 4 to 5 years. Sony is very popular because of the gaming, and that has gone up pretty significantly in the 10 years that I've been with the program. All right, we have pretty much cover a lot of the Common Core standards in our program. So the math lessons are all going to be Common Core standards that are part of that initiative. And also the writing and the reading all follow Common Core standards. Another heads up, just our latest study done in 2016 shows that we have very good results, and we will not be collecting data or tests this year just due to the pandemic. Next year we will be testing and collecting data, and hopefully we'll be ready for another external study. Please like us on Facebook. It's a great way to learn what's happening. You can learn about the students that are transferring their investments. You can learn about the other teachers that are teaching the program. You can learn about our board members. You can learn about our events. And if you haven't done it yet, please like us on Facebook. So Dr. Faith Hibbert, who is one of our long-standing principals with the program, she really makes a good quote about our program. Students are learning real life skills. They are learning that they will have the power to control their finances in the future. They're learning the power of investing, how to save as a holder in a company, how to make a profit, and how to put all of this into practice later in life. So thank you so much. This is the welcoming PowerPoint for teacher training this year. You will also be taking another PowerPoint about the basics in investing, which is given by one of our T. Rowe Price board members. Welcome again, and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you so much.